Hey everyone, Joy Brooks with Email and Coffee. Today I'm speaking with Sarah Choudhary. She's an innovator and an entrepreneur and an AI technologist. But Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jay, first of all, to bringing me for this opportunity and in kind of like a great opportunity for me to talk to you and your audience as well on this one. So for myself, I am working in this field in technology, especially related to the data and AI for last 20 plus years. Recently, for last 6 to 8 years, I'm in leadership. I work with a lot of consulting businesses, uh, work a lot into cloud data strategy and AI as well. Recently, we see a lot of hype in AI, though we were working on this some for a little more time since we have discovered a lot of machine learning, and I recently did my PhD in data science as well. So my focus is more into the AI, especially related to the ethical and related to the most of the ethical and responsible AI. I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, and other than that, I am in consulting, doing business. But other than that, I also I'm a mother of three kids, and I also have some businesses as well where I have working coming two applications, which is a one a ride hailing company, and second is the iChef, which is a more kind of like home cooking food delivered next to your door.
So you keep yourself very busy.
Yes, I am busy. Yes, and yeah. As far as to manage the time is good.
All of those kids,
My oldest one is 23, then I have a 16, and then I have 8.
23.
Yeah.
You've had a very long life. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope so.
Really. So, AI, everybody talks about AI. Everybody's panicking about AI. Everybody's dabbling in AI.
Mhm.
Um, what's the role of AI in business as we see it today, and where is it going
So, as
at
for
quantum levels?
mhm, yeah, so as for AI right now in the market, I would say it is like it's AI plays a big role in the business today. It's like having a super smart kind of assistant that never sleeps. It helps you. It helps company to save time and also do a lot of automation in the budget as well for make better decisions. For example, instead of doing everything manually, AI can analyze huge amount of the data, find patterns, and suggest some kind of like actions. And all it does is faster than any human could. For example, if you go in the retails, it predicts what customers wants, where the customer have a more kind of like interest. In finance, it detects fraud more than like other machine learning languages, as and the agents we have, AI agents, are more kind of like fast as well. In manufacturing, if you see, it spots the problems in machines before even they break, so which kind of like more kind of a predictive analysis. And in marketing, you will see it personalizes the how what each customer sees, and how what their behavior is, and all this stuff. So but the real power of AI is like it transforms the way the business operate. It also helps leader to shift the guesswork, more of kind of like you can say guesswork, to data driven strategy. It unlocks new products, better customer experiences, and also the smarter way of living as well. If you see how the AI is analyze the data in the in the defense as well, that's really very helpful as well. So AI, I won't say it's like just a tool; it's becoming a kind of like an engine for modern business transformation.
Um, one of the problems I'd say that people have with AI is how they interact with it. So for
Right.
people who say, oh, they shake their heads and they're like, oh, it's no good. It's it's about the prompt. Um, for in many cases,
Right.
unless unless you have an instance of it that's so specific to your industry, and you can do that. you get AI that's streamlined for a business. So it thinks along the lines of manufacturing. You don't have to tell it you're a manufacturer. But many times when I'm having various conversations with Claude, which is what I use, I first have to tell Claude who he is. So I say, Claude, you're an email marketer, or Claude, you're a YouTube, um, SEO specialist. So I start conversations with telling Claude who he's play acting.
Mhm. Makes sense. Makes sense. So I would say like most of this work is is prompt engineering, right? You're absolutely right. The biggest problem with AI is not always what it tells, but what they feel threatened or left behind. And honestly, I understand that AI can feel like a black box. It's fast, it's complex, and also it's changing things very quickly. And this can cause fear and kind of some kind of neglecting as well, I would say. And there are three main reasons what I see in the market right now. One is that the fear of losing of the job. For example, they think AI is here to replace them, and also lack of understanding. One of the factor, most people don't know how AI works. They just don't trust it, and they don't want to move forward to learn about it. And movies and headlines often show AI as a dangerous or out of control or something, with some videos like how it could do it. But here's what I always say is awareness, learn about AI. AI is not an enemy, it's a tool, kind of like as a helper. It depends on how we use it. For example, if a knife of for example a knife can harm to help, but also it can help as well to to cutting the fruit or something. So I was once speaking with a group of customer service reps at a company where AI was being introduced to handle some routine questions. Like one woman told me that if AI can answer the calls, what's left for me? So she was not wrong to worry. Change without communication creates fear. But once the company explained that AI would only handle the repetitive stuff and the reps would get upskilled to solve some kind of a deeper problems, then her mindset changed. So AI was not replacing her, it was upgrading her role.
I understand why people are afraid that it's going to take their job. It's going to.
Mm,
If they're the humans will still be the creator. Humans will still guide it. And I'm not saying that AI can't create, but it's not able to take that leap of faith that humans can take. So, for example, you ask it a few questions, and the information comes back. Whatever project you're working on, and information comes back, and it's not really hitting the mark.
mhm.
It's off on a tangent. It misunderstood what you asked it,
Yep, yep,
or
yep.
it's almost there, but it's not quite right just yet. It
Yeah.
needs that human to prompt it again to say, you're almost there. Here's the emotion. Let's go. And then, suddenly it changes. Oh, you want me to write it in this voice, and it writes it in a different voice, or it covers a different aspect, different perspective, because it's not necessary. I'm not trying to say that it's human, but it's a large language model. It's this language model that's able to speak,
Yeah, that's
understand,
absolutely
and
true. Yeah.
have a conversation, and that's how it needs to be used as it's a conversation in process, not I need you to tell me this, and then it comes back and you're done.
Mhm.
That's not necessarily the interaction.
Yes, you're right. I totally understand what your point is. So right now, AI can recognize the emotion. Recognizing the emotion and feeling is somehow different, but it cannot truly feel it. It can analyze the voice tone, facial expressions, or words, or say, for example, this person sounds sad, or this text feels happy. This is called emotional recognition. But is getting better with the time, but understanding the emotion is different from experiencing it. AI does not feel heartbreak, happiness, courage, or fear. It just identify the patterns based on the data. For example, now you talk about the taking a leap of faith. That's very human being. A leap of faith comes from believing without the proof, trusting the gut feeling, and for example, if I would say the launch of SpaceX Falcon 1 in 2008, Elon Musk has already failed three rocket launches, right? The company was almost out of the money, and every calculation, every business model, every expert said it's over. But if AI was in charge, it would have stopped. If the data said it's too risky, the pattern was failure, the probability very low, right? But that leader, the Elon, made a leap of faith. He believed in the vision, in his team, and in something beyond the numbers. He poured in the last of his own money, and then the fourth rocket launch succeeded. So today, SpaceX is rewriting the future of space travel. So AI would not have made that decision, it would have classified it as a risk, everything without proof. So that leap came from the human belief, emotions, and courage, the things AI does not have.
That's how it's reshaping business.
Mhm.
So, you have an idea, and, I work with AI every day because I'll start out with an idea and I'm using it as a brainstorm,
Yes, yeah, for
right?
sure.
Where I didn't have that before, or I would take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to think it through. I'll maybe take 2 days to think it through
Mhm.
because I'll have that full conversation with Claude.
Yep.
Um, and so people who are entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, an entrepreneur, the difference being that with an entrepreneur, you assume that there are people around you. With a solopreneur, you're assuming there's no one around you. Um, you know, AI can really help um, disrupt yourself. So if you're stuck, it can make you think different things. It can provide you with an answer that will provide you with the next question or the solution or another conversation, um, something abstract. It's just the things that it can do. Um, and that people are afraid that it can do because they think that it's, again, that they're competing with it. It's not, how do I say this? When when the computer was introduced
Mhm.
in the 70s and the 80s, they were essentially word processing computers.
Yeah.
So yes, it took the secretary, turned that secretary into an administrator.
Mhm.
And it began a process in technology that continues to provide business solutions, whether you,
Document or creating Excel or something like that.
and it's doing it at exponential at
Understand.
an exponential rate at this point.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. Uh, what I understand is here how much of you work with AI every day as well. Uh, what I do my analysis, AI is not here to compete with your creativity, right? It is here to expand it. Let's say you have a business idea, right? In the past, you would sit with your notebook, as you mentioned, or a computer or a Google search to brainstorm, right? We always take help with books or something like that. We didn't get this all the data from somewhere else. We read the books, we go to college, and we have that data with us. There, how we create ideas. Now with AI, you have an assistant that can spark the ideas, challenge your thinking, and even can help visualize possibilities you never considered. For example, let's say if you want to start a wellness brand, right? AI can help you. It can explore the niche markets. It can write the product descriptions for you, so you don't have to, spend more time in the writing and stuff like that. And it can also 10 different brand names in seconds as well. And also we can research and do analysis on the competitive market for you. So even create logos, ideas, and sample ads as well. So that's not competition, that's the leverage. But here's the worst mindset matter, right? Some people see AI doing these things and think, oh, it's taking over. But other, the smart disruptors, they look at it and say, how can I use it to go faster, reach further, and think bigger? So I think the AI is not, it's not going to replace entrepreneurs, or but it will be more help for the solopreneur as well. But maybe it will replace those entrepreneurs who don't use AI. If you are solopreneur, AI can give you the power of a team, the speed of the strategies, and also the insights of the data analysis as well, all in one. You don't need to fear it, you just need to partner with it, right? So I would say AI is not a, it's a kind of like a co-founder for you, for your work, or so the future belongs to the creators who creates this, AI, not against it.
I think to some extent, and this happens to me when I'm using it to create content, right? And I think to myself, well, I didn't write this. I'm thinking, how ethical is that? I didn't write any of this. Maybe I'm changing a word or two. Maybe it would be 4 or 5 back and forths where I'm like, oh, that's not right. That's not what I meant. Let's think it through this way. Use this as a focus. So I'm going back and forth, but I'm getting back 4 paragraphs of content that I didn't write. So when you're submitting that, to some extent, a writer would say, you didn't write that.
Yeah. So now we have a AI, just same like lapellerism filter and stuff like that. So I think now we have that AI detectors as well, where it can, detect the AI content as well with, with the kids who are in the school. But let me give you a very real example. Let's say AI helped me write an article, right? It gives me content, and on the surface, it looks like fine, but when I read it, it doesn't feel like me. Same like you say, when you read the content, it's like going back and forth. It doesn't. So it might have the right words, but sometimes soul is missing over there. The tone is off. It's not my tone, or the messages is not kind of like aligned with how I think or how I feel or I truly believe. So now imagine, like I submit the article as a writer with my name on it, and what the what this article will be doing is definitely is if I didn't review it, I didn't tweak it and didn't make it mine, then I am taking credit for something that I didn't fully own or feel connected to. And the worst thing is that if you are submitting that article, it has any bias, any false information, misrepresentation, it's me, not the AI who's the responsible, right? So when we talk about ethical AI, it's not just about like big companies or algorithms or something like that. It's about your responsibility as well. Like it is ethical to use AI, yes, but only if you use it with the honesty and responsibility, because it will come back to you anyway. If it's a false information, if you did not tweak it, you didn't research it. So it's a like a calculator, a spell checker, or even a Google. It can help you brainstorm, organize ideas, speed up the writing process, but giving you a starting point. But the key is then review it, edit it, make it your own, put your tone, because once you put your name on it, you are responsible of all the information out there, right? What it says, whether AI wrote it or not, you are the responsible. People will remember that you wrote it, right? So this is a thing. So I think just like journalism or in research, integrity matters. Same like AI should support the voice, but not replace your voice.
Yeah, I can see it being a problem in journalism. I really can. I really can see it being a problem in journalism because, um, you've got television, you've got social, you've got um, newspapers. It's very easy for me to go to AI and say, I need you to create an article on tariffs.
Yeah.
I want you to, it should be historical.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be pros and cons, and it needs to show, processes and methods, and it will write the whole article. You can reread it and fix it up a few things here and there. It could be 10 pages, it could be 1 page. And you could submit it as an editorial, or you could submit it as a news article.
Yep.
And it may be very, very good.
Yep. Yep. So I think
We've just taken a journalist who would spend, I don't know how much time
hours,
to
days.
research the information. And you could even come back and say, I need a few quotes. Can you provide a few quotes that are current, in newspapers of the last 2 weeks? And it will come back with quotes. So it's a very timely piece.
Yes, that's it basically shrink the time. So I think always if we keep the human in the loop as well, then AI can assist, but human can always review, as you mentioned, right? Edit and approve all the content. And transparency, one of the thing that I say that clearly stated if AI helped to write it. And one of the things we are recently using is the Teams. It has a co-pilot in it, and it write all the notes. But it always have a note over there when I share those meeting notes with my clients or with my colleagues. It clearly say these are the AI generated notes. So make sure that these are accuracy. You check it with accuracy. So it's a like a strong fact checking system. So always verify the sources, posts, themes before publishing. And newsroom should create some rules basically about when and how to use AI, just like they do for plagiarism or sourcing. So there is a rules and policies that definitely need to be get in effect for different organizations. For example, in federal, they start putting some kind of a policies and restrictions where employees can use AI and where they cannot. um, so basically, AI, at the end, I would say like AI just making journalism more faster, not weaker. It should support the truth, not just speed. Make sure the source is good. So that's why human interfere is always, recommended in these kind of cases as well. So definitely, it's not replacing journalists again. Just empower them with the smarter jobs, and while they can keeping the values and accuracy, make sure they can fact check more precisely versus before, empathy and integrity in the core as well.
It seems to me that not going to necessarily replace jobs. It's just going to require people to have different responsibilities. So where, we may not need 15 journalists. We maybe need five journalists, right? But now they're going to be crackerjack journalists.
Yeah, but
And
best ones. Yeah.
you're going to need more proofreaders to come
Mm-hmm.
back and say, this was flat. This is really flat. I read this and I wanted to fall asleep. There was no emotion in this. Can you please put some emotion in this? Give me a quote. Give me something. Please give me something. Because like like a muscle that's not used, it's going to cause that.
True.
People are not going to necessarily uh, be that incredible journalist because they don't have to get on an airplane, go fly somewhere to interview someone.
Makes sense.
All they need to do is say, what's going on in the country right now? Please give me, tell me everything that's going on. And, you're going to get everything that's going on. And all you need to do is put it together. So you're going to need it's going to change everything. And that's sort of what happened again with computers, right? So, no more secretaries. Now we have administrators.
Oh yeah.
They need different skills. We still need people to do these things. The
Exactly.
job has changed, but it's a different skill set.
Yep.
And in that process, okay, some muscles, we're not using some muscles in some areas, but we need those muscles in other areas.
Yes, for example, if you are a journalist or you are kind of like any doing for chief an editor or something like that in 2025, let's say, so you are not longer writing just articles. You might be now training the AI models. You help fine tune the AI tools to write in your publication tone, right? That's mean like choosing the right language style and also the sensitivity to for your audience, right? Because you have that data, and also fact check AI generated drafts. You can review, verify the facts before any AI written content goes live, right? So it's a kind of like a new editorial role that critical for maintaining the trust for any organization, not only in journalism but any other place. And also you can spot the bias in the data. AI might pull the stories from trending topics, but you are the responsible for making sure those stories are not just promoting the harmful kind of stereotypes or false narratives. So these kind of things you have to be make sure as well. And also you need to explain the AI rules to reader. For example, in some cases, journalists they have a duty to say this article was co-written with AI. AI helped analyze this data. That level of transparency build that trust with the audience. So we can have a new job titles like AI content creator, AI fact check specialist, ethical AI officer in media or different other organization, and also like AI augmented reporter. So I think the building trust with audiences is also very necessary instead of just if you are generating something with AI, write it. Yeah, this is generated with AI. I think Instagram and Facebook already have this kind of thing that if this specific content is generated by AI, just check this box as well. So this is really good. The industries are start recognizing it and making it more transparent.
Yeah, it's working with an AI team or working, including AI in your team. So now the process includes this artificial intelligent model
Yeah.
as opposed to, Jane sitting next to you that has flesh and blood. Now you've got AI. Um, Jane's been replaced, but now four other people are doing other things.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
So,
More creativity. Hmm.
I mean, listen, the the fear of the future,
Hmm.
everyone has always had fear of the future.
Yep. For sure.
I mean, we were afraid of cars.
Hmm.
Oh, what cars are going to do. But we were afraid of electricity. I mean, so afraid of electricity that we created a daylight savings time and all of these things that didn't exist before.
Yep.
Um, every time any type of technology is introduced, man changes,
Yeah.
humanity changes for the better, for the worse.
Yes.
But that's what humanity is. You
Exactly.
know,
Yep. Yep.
that's what civilization is.
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to use the term in a way of comparative. It's not necessarily comparative. It's a continuum.
Yes, you're right. Fear of AI, fear of anything new is natural because it's new, right? And it's not unique. Fear is every major invention in the history was once fear, doubted, or kind of like even resisted as well. Even the climate change and all this, people still not believing that it's real, but it is. It is they need to be follow a lot. It need to be basically advocate a lot and make awareness in people. So you're right. When electricity was introduced, people were scared. They thought electric light would harm their eyesight or wires would burn down the cities. Some even refused to. I was just reading a historic book. It says some even refused to install it in their homes, but now we can't even imagine life without it. So no,
Exactly.
so electricity didn't destroy the human. It light it up, right? And when car came, people said, oh, they are too fast. They believe their human body can survive speed over 30 miles per hour. Horse carriages businesses protested. Cities didn't have roads for them, but cars didn't end the world. They reshaped it. So I think that right now we are in the fear phase of AI. You're right. It's fast, it's unfamiliar, and make us like big questions about controlling job values. But like electricity and car, AI has power to change everything for the better if we use it wisely. But we are not losing, I won't say like we are losing humanity, we are evolving it. And the key is like AI to shape with ethics, responsibility, and how. So the future is not just smart, but also human as well. This is what I would say.
Yeah, they're going to be robots. We're
Hmm.
going, I mean, will I see them in my day? Not necessarily in my house. I won't see them. The kids will. The,
Yeah.
robots will become robots. It's the technology is not going away. Um,
So when we talk about, I actually had recently experienced going to the Human Aid Summit, and I see a lot of progress. It's definitely not robotic chat GPT moment right now, but it is evolving, right? And when people talk about robot in the future, they often picture, if you see in Hollywood and different other movies as well, they like metal humans, they taking over the world. This is the Hollywood, not reality. In truth, robots are already there. They are just not always in the form we imagine. For example, warehouse robots. Let's say we have a, I think 5 6 years ago we have home robots, which is cleaner, which clean all the house. In an Amazon warehouse robots, they move shelf faster than human can ever could. And even there is a lot of surgical robots since many years that help doctors perform some kind of a delicate procedures, which we call one laparoscopic as well, with more precision. And there is a robots in farms as well that plant, water, and harvest the crops. So, and there was a now mostly people when they see a service robot, most in China, they greet people at hotels, they clean the floors or deliver the food as well. So that's another thing that enhance the human life as well. So in future possibility, what I saw in humanoid robots was elder care robots. They were helping aging population live independently, give them help them out to bring up the stuff or grocery from the stairs, and they act like as a personal home assistant that can cook, clean, and also organize as well. In construction, their robots I saw in China and Japan, they're evolving really fast. They're using construction robots, building home faster and picking up, big bricks and all stuff from one place to another, and safer as well. Even humanoid companions for education, therapy, and companionship as well. But the truth is that robots will do tasks, but not take over the minds. They don't feel, they don't dream. They operate with the limits we design to it. That's our responsibility to program these with ethics, use them for good, make sure that we have given them power that it need for that specific task, and make sure they serve people, not control them.
will will quantum computing ever produce that mind? I mean, what type of a system can produce um, a human?
We mean like quantum computing act in the specific.
To what extent? How much power? How much system, hardware, software would be required to
Mhm.
create a robot that thinks and speaks and is your girlfriend?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That makes sense. That makes sense. For the quantum
That's quite
computer
a lot. That's
especially.
quite a lot of power.
Yes. So, yeah, quantum computing is like they may outthink us, but it's like it's never like feel us or like out. That's the power. That's a human hold, basically. That's I always say is. As for the hardware, it takes a lot of time. It takes about because you not only create a robot. For example, I saw in a humanoid summit as well. Like even if you see the hands, how you control the hand, they create the all the hydraulic. What we use in the car as well, hydraulic engines to make sure that how this move. There are so many things that what I have learned so far. So for basic robot like a toy or simple helper, they have a microcontroller. They like Raspberry Pi is a one of the example. They have a motors or wheels for movement, and they have a battery or power source, and they have a basic sensor, for example, light, sound, and motion. Because they have not have the eyes, they will have a sensors that will see for you in the plastic and metal frames. For the mid-level robot like home assistant and vacuum robot, they have some like advanced processes. For example, Intel chips, Nvidia, Jetson. Nvidia recently created a quantum chip as well. That's actually used for the robot. So then they will have multiple sensor, for example, camera, lidar, infrared, ultrasonic, these kind of things. Touch screens, LED displays, wheels, a lot of things that we use in the cars as well. Rechargeable battery system with power management, cooling system is one of the thing. Definitely, you see the Tesla Optimus or Boston Dynamics Atlas, they are advanced lunar robot. So they have a dozen of sensors for sight, hearing, touch, balance, and motion, and then they use high-end CPUs, not the quantum right now, but they have a GPUs or AI edge kind of a chips that they use, and hydraulic and electric actuators for smooth movement. This is how they even to create one hand to pick this up. They have to do work for months, and to make sure that it hold there properly and something like that for smoother movement. And then they have to create those to help this out skeleton like frame with make sure the material is lightweight but durable as well. An internal power management system, cooling, safety circuits, and wireless communication systems as well. There's a lot of things that you need to do it, but it's not kind of like a very unable to do or something like that. But in the coming future, right now, for example, if you see Tesla's Optimus is cost like 26,000 to 30,000 something, but in the future, more with the AI modules for speech, emotion recognition, vision, and decision making, these things are coming. So it will reduce the cost. Remember when first computer came? Years ago it was like $20,000 computer at that time. I think 50 years ago, 40 years ago. I don't remember exact name, but it was a huge computers and this much cost. But now you see how much it costs now. So I think robots can be like, right now it's costing like hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions as well. Required a lot of lab robotic engineering and months or years to build and test. But in the near future, more I see a lot of investment, especially from the this America is also we start adopting this thing as well to start investing in the robotics. But we are seeing a lot from Europe and Asia as well.
I think about the we have more than one robot on Mars right now.
Yeah,
We definitely have one. I know that.
we
There
should.
may be two. I'm not sure if they're both running, but in any case, the pictures that you get from the robot, and you think it's not completely thinking on its own. I mean, it will have a routine a number of routines. Get up in the morning, roll over here, take a picture, take some dirt, process it, wait for an hour or so, and then do this, whatever it is. That's a bunch of routines. But that data is coming back, and then we're telling it what to do tomorrow based on that data. It may not. The robots right now on Mars are not self-contained, managing everything themselves. They're waiting for instructions.
Yes. So there is a, you're right. As far as for data concerned, they're using it very intelligent. Like as you mentioned earlier, quantum computing. Uh, there are a lot of testing is happening that has a potential to supercharge these robotics, especially in the way how the robots process the data for today and make decision for tomorrow, and also learn faster on this data. For example, right now the tradition robots, they are limited by classical computing, which process one possibility at a time. But quantum computers can process millions of possibility at once, thanks to qubits. What will be the quantum computing can do for us is like it has a faster decisions making skills. It can make computers make in complex environment. Robots in factories like self-driving cars and delivery drones, has to make split second decisions with a huge amounts of sensor data, so quantum computing can help them analyze multiple paths at once, and they can find its safest and fastest option instantly. It can also avoid the delays in our data, from the data overload. For example, if there is a rescue robot in a disaster zone, it can process the terrain and heat and human signals at the same time and decide the best path without trial or an error and delay. Quantum computing can also boost the AI model training as well. That reports can run faster patterns, and each day they will get improved with these data, and they can handle the more complicated tasks, how they are doing for today. Like it can adapt in real time.
Something that you just said, I was thinking
Mhm.
in rescue, right? So that you've got a robot or robots that are helping you with rescue. And
Mhm.
at some point, it's going to do the risk analysis and it's going to say, okay, we're done. We're done. These people are not, they're not rescuable. And the human is going to say, no, 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 we're not done yet.
Yes, human.
There's a possibility. And and I'm going to,
Mhm.
it might be a child, it might be a family, it might be whatever it is. And the human, and we're still going to need that human. That's the point. You're still going to need that human in a rescue because the human is going to say, it's not just a risk analysis, it's humanity.
Exactly, you're right. Yes, you're right. At some point, it might stop. Right? If the system might be say, "Oh, all search are completed, mission complete," and it will walk away. But human wouldn't, right? A human would say, "Maybe there's still a one person left. Maybe I missed a heartbeat. Let me check one more time." And that's the difference. You're right. It's a really very great topic because robots work by rules and responsibilities, where human works by hope and instinct, right? That's what we're from gut feelings, and our second heart and second brain from our heart comes in. So maybe robot might say, "I have done enough" or something like that, but humans say, "Until I know for sure, I'm not done." So this is and for the future perspective, I will say we can build robots to help us, to protect us, to go where it's too dangerous for us to go. But the soul of rescue, the never give up, and what if there's still hope, there's something no machine can truly feel. And that's
Right.
why no matter how advanced robots become, he will always need humans at the center, not just for the logic, but for the love as well.
There's no doubt in my mind that the relationship will be one that betters us. But obviously, you know, everything becomes weaponized
Oh,
because that's also part what humans do. Humans will find a way to, you know, to uh, to use the system, to gamify the system, to abuse the system. Unfortunately, it's what we do.
yes, true, true. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that it's because of robots or because of AI or because of technology that we're this way. We've always done this. Always done this.
Yes, I would say in defense, especially, these robots would be very helpful, especially where we need to not replace, but as I say earlier, that in defense, we might need some robotic power where it's hard for human to go, especially for weaponizing and stuff like that. How they are doing right now, especially for defense for the whole world or your own country. uh, is robotic AI can help a lot over there, especially for example, if you say in the military, it's a sensitive thing, but they are already using it for sure for defense and military operation at a massive scale. But now we are seeing a role of rise of like smart machines that can do what humans used to do. For example, more faster. I would say one of the things is that surveillance and uh, reconnaissance or something like that, AI powered drones, and there's some ground robots that are used to gather intelligence. For example, they can scan the wide areas, they can recognize the threats, and also send real time data to commanders as well. For example, drones that fly over the enemy zone and detect the movements, they using the thermal imaging without a kind of like a single soldier crossing the line or something like that. So that's where it can save a lot of lives as well during wars or something like that. And it has some combat sport as well for sure. Some robots are now being used and tested actually for autonomous or semi-autonomous combat roles. For example, like carrying the weapons, patrolling the borders, and even assisting troops on the battlefield as well. For example, robot dogs can carry if scout hostile areas in real time. They can alert human beings or human teams about some hidden threats as well. And it can also help militaries detect some kind of like a cyber threat as well, analyze massive data sets. They can detect the fraud in real time as well, and also simulate some kind of a potential attacks to prepare the defense as well. So uh, that's very helpful in I think the AI has a lot of potential in that side. So but the thing, the critical part again that comes like the ethics, right, is who decide to pull the trigger, right? if
Right.
if a robot can fire a weapon, does it understand the context, like morality, civilian safety, or something like that? And then accountability. If AI make the wrong call, who is responsible? The developer, the commander, or the machine? So I think that there is a very thin line between autonomy and versus control. So most experts agree AI should never fully replace human judgment, especially when lives are at stake.
Mhm. It would be nice if it advanced us to a point where uh, conflict was impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting to see if that you can read any science fiction novel and it shows that no matter what we do, we, we still end up in war. So I don't know if that's necessarily truth, but is it possible that it can outmaneuver war? It
Yeah.
gets to the point where it over strategizes so that there's no win, or everyone wins. It's an odd kind of a chess game. If you take two computers and you tell them to play chess with each other and
Yeah.
they become experts, at some point in time all the moves are done and there's no game. It's just like, oh yeah, we're done. Oh,
Yeah.
start again. Oh, done.
Yeah.
It's so instantaneous. It's like, okay, I got all the moves done. You lose. Okay, thank you. Next. Okay, you lose. Next. It's an odd type of a thing where computers are so smart, so fast that it's the war's over before it starts.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it can maneuver for sure. War in some ways that's already is, for example, is being used for the strategy simulations. It's also for drone coordination, target recognition, mapping for battlefield, and also for cyber, warfare tactics or something like that. But
Just turn the power
yeah,
off and then we're sunk. Turn
yes.
the power off and we're sunk. We're all sunk.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel regret, it doesn't feel understand the mercy, or it doesn't feel for pause for peace or something like that. So it simply execute based on logic and goals, which can be dangerous if those goals are not ethically defended. So that's a real
Right.
difference. Yeah.
That's a you know that's a big deal. The ethics really is a big deal. I think um, that is the arena where need humans need to enter, and that cannot be replaced. And that will be the new role for the future, and will continue to be the role. You know, the human that interacts with the computer and the human that's responsible for what that computer does, or that not necessarily that computer, that intelligence.
Yeah. So there's a two things that I often talk to people when we when we talk about ethical and responsible, there are two things, right? We basically asking two things. What is right? This is the ethics. And who is accountable? That's a responsibility. So AI does come with the ethical and responsible, both of these contexts. So ethical AI is about the principle. For example, is it fair? Is it transparent? Does it respect the privacy, dignity, and human rights, or something like that? And does it avoid the bias or discrimination? For example, I work in an AI hiring tool that hides the names and photos to avoid the gender and radical bias, because that was an ethical design. Because when we do the first thing, it saw that there are a specific gender, there's some more in that specific area, so it would automatically picking up 70% more resume from that gender, because this is how it does. So what we do, we do the start hiding the names and photos or to avoid gender or any kind of a racial bias. That's the ethical designing basically. And responsible AI is more about the practice, like who is testing the model, right? And who is reviewing this data, and who we get same like Resi model, who is accountable if it goes wrong, and are there all checks in the place. For example, if a company use AI for credit usage, let's say, or credit score, that make sure that human review each decisions before action is taken. That's a responsibility in motion. So we are the designers as a human. We are the decision makers. We are the one who feel, question, and care. So AI has no morals. It follow the instructions. It's the human who defines what matters. So I think without human oversight, even the smartest AI can do harm at scales, fast and silently.
Something that comes to mind is AI has been used for quite some time in human resources. So you find a job, you apply
Mhm.
for the job, you send your resume, and in many cases, that data is um, is researched, and the applicants are picked through an algorithm. In many cases, whereby your resume never even surfaces. Like your resume gets buried because it's looking for these particular keywords,
Oh,
and it's not even getting to the top. And a that's a good scenario for um, human in human resource, whereby it's not managing that personnel properly. You're allowing it because maybe you don't have the right people in human resources, or you don't have the time to go over the 50 resumes that are incoming. And
yeah.
that's happening right now.
Yes, because AI learn from historical data, right? For example, if a company mostly hired men in the past or preferred kind of a certain schools or backgrounds, the AI may learn to repeat the same pattern without realizing it is unfair, right? Because, for example, as you mentioned, AI resume scanner may downrank applicants with gaps in their work history, like parents who took time off to raise the kids, or maybe they were doing some kind of a different business, which is a skill as well, basically. But that's not a skill issue, that's a bias, right? It definitely miss human. Not somehow some AI doesn't understand, like if there is a career switch, if there would be a person struggles, if there could be a transferable skills, because a lot of people move their skills from one place to another. Maybe they just learned a new degree, they just want to move it. It also a growth mindset, right? You can understand someone might have a amazing soft skills or life experiences, but AI doesn't see that unless it's written in kind of like a keywords, or some kind of like a perfect language, and people, and it's a, you could be a great fit, people get rejected without knowing why, because but if your resume doesn't match the algorithm, you are out. No explanation, no second look. So I think human should be reviewed for everything that we are using AI for, especially for the final shortlist. An AI system needs constant auditing, constant fixes to make sure there's a not to detect and fix the biases as well. And candidates should also know if AI was used and how decision was made. So we need to redesign our AI to look for potential, not for just a perfect wording, but kind of like more emotional resilience. So we need to add these kind of algorithm for sure.
Yeah, as I said, I think that is a pretty perfect example of it's happening right now. It's been happening for a number of years,
This happened.
number of years,
Yes.
and it's not necessarily being challenged or taken care of. In many cases, um, it's a revolving door because companies may not be getting who they think they're getting, and it's a problem.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. Yeah. And that's sometimes we call a lot of issues in the company itself. There is uh, a lot of problems stirring up because, for example, if you hire a strategist who has a great experience, he got from degree from great school, but he don't have that kind of empathy or that need to understanding the culture. If that's a missing point and you hire that specific kind of a role and you miss someone who is more into, for example, I would say in the automotive field, right? If you hire someone in automation, right, and and the person you hired it work in the telecommunication, or maybe he or she work in different other human resource or something department, but you never have an experience in this specific industry, then how would you know get that culture recognition in that hiring person that you just hired? So there are issues, but definitely, the thing is, one of the very important thing that I was discussing during my last summit as well, that uh, we need to take action, especially related to the implementing these policies to figure this out, what's going on wrong, and what is the examples that happened in past, what lesson we learned. Because if we don't take an action, then someone will start taking action in politics who don't know about AI, who don't know about the real circumstances. It could be bureaucrat or something like that, and what they're going to do is implement or imposing the wrong policies. So if we won't take an action, somebody will definitely take that was not his or her job. So I think we need to be more active in this field, especially understanding awareness to get understand what AI is doing, where it fall back, and where we can pick up the pieces and start making it more usable for everyone.
I think it's pretty exciting. I think it would be to everybody's benefit to think of, if they're in a situation, in a career now, or in an education where they're attempting to, get a professional, um, uh, you know, obtain a profession for themselves. They need that adding that ability to understand artificial intelligence
Mhm.
will better them, provide provide so many more options for the future. I mean, we can't fight it. What we need to really do is become specialists. So, if, for an example, you might say, I'm an accountant. I'm not going to have a job. And that might be true. And 20 years from now, it could be completely, right now
So exactly, yes, yeah, you're right.
right now we have all of these applications online where an accountant gets all of your papers, opens up the opens up this form and starts plugging in all the information, and your entire audit, your IRS statement is done bang, bang, bang,
Yep.
right? And that goes with all of the different methodology for businesses and accounting and things of that nature. That doesn't mean you don't become an accountant. That means you become an accountant with a specialty in artificial intelligence, so
Exactly.
that you're able to either train or fix or
True.
troubleshoot or whatever it is. You need to take your thought process
True, yeah,
and
because yeah,
shift it.
yeah, you're right. Because what AI can do, it automatically read and process all the data, like all the IRS, all the stuff that you have to fill out, and it can categorize all the transactions correctly into the right boxes. It can also spot the missing entries or fraud patterns or create the financial reports in seconds. But human account is still needs, right? Because it can interrupt what the number means for the business. Every business culture, every business ecosystem is not same with all of the businesses. It can advise on strategy and what the risk it could be, and for the investment opportunity as well. AI cannot do that. It can navigate some kind of a tax law changes or legal responsibilities, and definitely at the end, very important is like it can use empathy and judgment in the client conversation. So AI takes again repetitive tasks, humans stay in charge of critical thinking, trust, and the strategy. So in the future, I would say AI might take 90% of some of your job processes. But for example, you take an example of accountant. So, but the accountant of tomorrow, it will be more like a financial advisor, data translator, and the strategical partner for your business. So AI definitely can balance the books, but humans are that can balance your business.
Right. The human is going to be the innovator. So
Yeah.
there may be the jobs that are separate now that, like you said, the accountant that becomes the financial advisor or the wealth management, or however, the fields will, get comprehensive,
Yes.
because now the accountant is not just thinking about the bottom line, but
Mhm.
is now thinking about, the next phase, the strategy, um, uh, partnerships, merger. I mean, all of these things that were totally out of, they're in a little silo of what's the bottom line, Joe? And Joe says, we're in the red. Oh God, what are we going to do? And Joe's like, I don't know. That's not what I do. Now Joe's going to be able to say, because the bottom line, bam, you're going to put the numbers in, and it's not only going to tell you your bottom line now, but it's going to project out. It's going to say, if this happens, here we are. And if that happens, here we are. And the way this is going, we need to, change our, to be sustainable, we'll need to do this, that, and the other thing. So all of these things are going to happen so quickly.
Oh, yes.
Your talents will need to be comprehensive. It's going to change. It's not going to take over so that humans sit around and, vegetate,
Yep.
eat chips and watch TV. That's not what's going to happen.
True, yeah. Because you write emails before what you used to do. We write emails, we post on social media, we check data manually. But now with AI, it write the drafts. If you say the Gmail as well, it automatically tells Gemini, can I help you? So it can schedule your post as well and give you insight like this post will perform 40% better on Tuesday. These kind of insight based on the predictive data. But your role evolves because now you are crafting the strategy, you are telling the brand stories, you are designing the emotion experiences that AI cannot do. And what it's going to be do as the end result, it will build trust with the real people. So the job becomes deeper, more creative, and more strategic now for, I think, even since AI is taking a lot of. So I think skills that more jobs about comprehensive the AI word is like critical thinking, emotion intelligence, some kind of a interdisciplinary knowledge, curiosity, one of the thing, and adaptability. That's pure human, you can say traits. And communication and collaboration is also, what networking need to be do by the humans to make kind of like more productivity. They can use their self in more collaboration and communication with other businesses to see how we can, make a better workflow designing or human AI relationship management, these kind of a thing.
Absolutely. I don't, I really, um, while I know that business will change. Business has always been changing. I mean,
Yeah,
really, it's never been the same.
true.
But it's happening quicker. I see people who fight it, who are afraid, who you know, they may not necessarily have the best uh, faith for the future. I get all these things. I don't see that that's any different than it's ever been. Humans do these types of
We
things,
always of new things. Yes, yeah. There's always fear.
but I'd say that the future can look pretty bright. I think the 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 challenge is the human AI team.
Yes,
That that's the challenge.
True, true. I think now, because AI will not going to solve everything, because we as a human is to be basically learning to use it wisely, right? Because we are not building AI to replace people. We are more kind of like a make it as an assistant. We are building it to remove the barriers, unlock some of the creativity that we had hurdles in, right? So I think that's the thing we can do. We need to start the see AI help, helping us. For example, I see AI helping out in the medical field as well, to doctors to detect the diseases earlier. Teachers personalize learning based on the student behavior, and farmer also grows smarter because of the data calculation happen behind the seed. For example, a specific seed lacks some kind of a nutrition that is happening because of the environmental pollution and everything to the people. New seed generation and data can be, feed a better kind of like a formula for that. So also artists express more. Of course, the art you will make, it has your own expression, but you can always take an idea, from the AI. And the good thing is about that we are just getting started about this. So the next is like AI can help us live longer as well, based on the DNA, data calculation because of quantum computing, that is emerging as well, and more time for creativity, connection, and the purpose as well. That why we are here, who we are, and what we need to do.
People will always want to live off the grid.
Hmm.
It's not going to stop.
Yep. It.
There's always an option.
Yeah.
And I'd say that that's the way it should be. I mean, I do read a lot of science fiction, and in those stories, it doesn't always end well.
Yeah.
I'd say,
Yeah.
uh, you know, uh, uh, I'd like to. I have to feel that humanity is good. I have to feel that.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. So next week
So
we're actually going to the TED Talk where we'll with the actually they are Sam Altman, who is CEO of AI, is coming over there, and the main topic of this talk is the conference is humanity reimagined. So there we will more discuss about AI being at the, over there as a CEO of brought this, this great tool, but also how humanity is going to be help us out, and what message we are going to become out for out of that. So that's a really good conferences, and in the future as well, there will be a lot of AI related conferences, and especially worldwide as well, Dubai, in different other regions of the world as well. There are a lot of happening related to AI, where it more kind of like a conferences for people for understanding, So everywhere is kind of like a more global hub for AI innovation right now. For example, you can learn from these kind of a conferences or these kind of a summits, like how governments are using AI to improve the cities, how startups are using AI to disrupt different kind of industries as well, and how ethics and regulations must keep in pace with this kind of a technology. So, from robotics, and quantum computing to generative AI and sustainable tech as well, the energy is in everywhere. I see is in coming. This year is pretty much busy in this kind of like a different solutions engineering and different kind of a brilliant mind gather where they can discuss and find out where to invest in this technology, and that invest is the vision basically that human will bring. We will work together and in networking and stepping into a living lab of the future.
what I think and what I've always thought and what I hope is that humans do the right thing and continue to do the right thing.
Of course, yeah, yep. There's a power we come
Right.
from our instinct, because we have a gut system, we have a heart. So what brain is? Brain is completely set of a past data. And if you see, a algorithm is exactly the replica of our neural transmitters, basically how our prefrontal cortex, the information, and how AI is working. So basically, they both are a fascinating kind of like a thing. AI be faster, but human brain is infinite, right? Like we have if as a human we have a 86 billion neurons. We create emotions, memories, imaginations. We feel love, fear, joy, pain. We can dream of things that never existed, It grows through experiences, struggle, and meaning. It doesn't just compute, it connects, creates, and care. Where AI brain, which is basically the same kind of like a neural pathway, but it works through algorithm and data. It learns from the patterns, not emotions as well. Never get tired, which is a great thing, but also never truly feels. It can solve all the problems in the math in seconds, but can't understand a poem that is, a person write with some kind of a, specific intention. So AI definitely imitates intelligence, and human brains basically embodies it. So AI is powerful, what, how, and when, but the human brain understand why. So that's, I think, one of the main things that we need to distinguish.
Yeah, I'd say let's not forget about our humanity, and there's a goodness in that, and
Yes.
I have to. I mean, I can't think of evil, badness, wrong all the time. I'm a risk management person, so given any situation, the first thing I'm going to go towards is risk. Like, okay, this is the risk. That's how I think. Um, I establish the negatives first.
Mhm.
However, I'm doing that in order to determine
The risk.
a good option,
Yeah.
right? So this machine that I have, that's how it works. I'm not, I'm not necessarily dwelling on um, the negative. I'm merely using that negative data to determine what positive data is, and then I can act on that. Um,
True.
and I have to assume that's the best part of humanity. That's how we figure stuff out. That's how we grow and just, make decisions and use our memories to make better decisions and not constantly repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
True, true. Yes. Yeah, because as you say that, like when you are seeing the risk, you are start looking into a problem or anything, any solution, you first see what the risk are, right? But AI is trained as a specific model, that is AI is trained to minimize the errors, loss, and danger first, and then is see the world through the data and probabilities. For example, if the number says like there is a 20% chance of the failure and 80% chance of the success, and it will flag like 20% risk before celebrating the 80% or something like that, because it's programmed to predict threat, not to take chances. But as a human, I think human often when you see, when as a risk management, you will first determine the risk. You will not just give the numbers, you will begin with the whole opportunity or desire. Like you dream big, right? Sometimes even when the odds are low, we take the risk based on the gut feeling, passion, or faith, just not the numbers. So for example, parents, they make sacrifice with no guarantee of success but just love. So we calculate the risk, but we are not, we are also willing to say like, I believe it's worth it anyway.
That's right. I believe in this anyway,
Yeah.
and it's good. And it's any last words for the audience for people that are in business, in professions, and trying to get it all together, working, thinking about AI. Any last words?
I think what I would say, AI is like very cautious, precise, and consistent, but human power is never can be, can be taken over. Humans are more courageous, they're more creative, and if I would say like we are stepping into the future that is shaped by AI, artificial intelligence, but the real question is what AI can do. We already know a lot of things. The real question is, what will we choose to do with it, right? AI is a reflection of us, our logic, our bias, our brilliance, but it can help us build, make faster, think bigger, and reach faster as well. But it still need one thing: it will never have its own human heart, purpose, and wisdom. So I think we should not be afraid of the future by bringing it what's going to be do. Let's reshape it, right? With ethics, with empathy and imagination, because in the end, AI may be the brain of tomorrow, but we, the humans, will always be the soul of it, right? So that's what I would say for everyone who has a lot of questions related to AI or fear or something like that.
Like that. It is a reflection
Hmm. True.
of us.
Yep.
So, mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yes.
Who is the fairest of them all?
True. Very true.
Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
Same here. Thank you so much. Thanks, Joy, and have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.